Who are you and what was your involvement in the restructuring of the school?
My name is Anne Marie Ford, and I was chair of the board of directors. I became chair just as it was being restructured. Prior to that, I was on the board for 3 years as a church rep for Our Lady of Perpetual Help.
What precipitated the restructuring?
The restructuring came about because the order had decided that they couldn't be in the school business anymore. Their order was aging, and so they needed to basically retire. So that brought up a couple of difficulties in continuing the school, in that one, it had to be decided what was going to be done with the school building as far as ownership went, who would own the building and thereby do all the repairs and be responsible for that. And in order to operate as a Catholic school, you have to be joined to something, whether it's a church or an order. So we had been joined with the order, and now we had to find someone to be joined to, a Catholic entity to be joined to, in order to continue the school. So that's why it had to be restructured, because the sisters wanted to retire from the school.
What were the steps taken?
The first order of business was to secure the school. So to secure the school, we had to decide how it was going to be paid for, who was going to pay for it, because we wanted to continue the school. And we wanted to continue it in this building. So that was negotiated over probably about an 8-month period by the former chair, and it was decided that the sisters would sell us the school for $1, provided that we continued to run it as a Catholic school. If we decided any time down the road that we didn't want to operate it as a Catholic school anymore, then the school would pay the sisters $300,000 for the school. But as long as it was a school, there wouldn't be any other prices to be paid. So that worked out very well, because we didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. So we were able to continue the school, and then continue to find someone that we could join with in order to continue the school. And after probably almost 2 years, all told, the 5 parishes of West Winnipeg came together, and they decided that they would be sort of our anchor, our Catholic anchor that we could join to. So it was the parishes of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, St. Charles, St. Anne's, Blessed John the 23rd, and St. Paul the Apostle.
What were some of the concerns?
The concerns by the parishes were the costs, how much it was going to cost them when they first joined together with us. There was no talk of costs or purchase or anything along those lines. But after the school continued for almost a year, after the building issue was settled and they joined, the board went to the parishes and asked for their support, their financial support. So there was much discussion about that, and finally a price was arrived at that the 5 parishes would help the school with a $90,000 payment per year, and that would be divided up amongst the parishes according to how big the parishes were, how many families in the parish, that sort of thing. And over time we developed a formula for that, so that each parish would donate sort of according to how well they could afford to help. So that was one of the biggest considerations at the early restructuring of the school. That and repairs. Repairs were a really big factor at the beginning. There was, as the sisters wound down, there wasn't a lot of repairs and maintenance done. So we had to try to spruce things up to try to get more people in. So hand in hand with repairs and maintenance went marketing issues, trying to get more students in and try to build the population of the school and get the word out that the school was doing well. And because as the sisters were winding down, a lot of people just figured that the school was closing. So we had to sort of turn that idea around in the community and go forward with new marketing. And we started right off the bat with bringing in all-day kindergarten. So that was one of our first major endeavors in restructuring the school.
How were concerns handled?
We had a really good board of directors. There were a number of parents and business people on the board, and they were very actively involved. It was much more of a hands-on board. Some boards just give advice and go away, come back to the next meeting and offer more advice, whereas this board was, you know, we were here doing the repairs, doing the painting, you know, getting the quotes, going over the quotes. We also, one of the earliest projects we did as well was the playground, and we physically went out and took pictures of other playgrounds and what colors did they use and what companies did they use, and brought this back and voted on it. We went out and got a government grant to help pay for the playground, which was, getting a grant was something that we hadn't undertaken before. Getting the new kindergarten room up and going. We had parents that had different skill sets, and we would tap on them to come in. They did the phone system, they did the PA system, they did some of the painting. So that was a big part of getting things done here.
If you had to do it over, what would you do the same or differently?
I don't think we could have done anything differently. I was been thinking about that, and a lot of things that have happened over the last 15 years, you couldn't have planned it. I think the board of directors and the churches that we're involved with, our supporting parishes, different things happen at different times, and there was a lot of hard work being done all the way along, and I think a lot of things, we were very fortunate, a lot of things just fell into place at the right time, or when we were in really desperate need, all of a sudden something would come forth and get us out of the problem that we were in. We went through a lot of the staffing. For instance, for one year we had 5 maternity leaves, so that makes it very difficult to staff a school when you have five teachers leaving for a year. So that summer we just happened to get an awful lot of resumes, and we were able to fill all the positions, which was almost unheard of, to be able to attract 5 teachers to a very small Catholic school. So different times in construction issues as well, where we thought there's nothing that we can do, we don't have the money to do this, and all of a sudden a donation would come in. and we were able to finish a project or do a project that we thought we'd have to put off for a number of years. So as far as things I would do differently, I don't think there was too much we could have done differently. I think the hard work that went on paid its own dividends, and we were very fortunate that along the way there was. I always said God was looking down on the school, because there was a lot of things that happened that really shouldn't have happened. We shouldn't have been that fortunate, but we were just very blessed in the way that it came about.
Any summative comments you would like to share as we celebrate our 15th anniversary of St. Charles Interparochial School?
Well, after that mouthful, I would say I'm very glad that they decided to call it St. Charles Catholic School to make it easier. That interparochial, that was only used for 1 year, and it was just too much of a mouthful, particularly for the little kids, that they couldn't say the name of their school. And we felt it was really important that they be able to be proud of their school, and they couldn't be very proud of it if they couldn't actually pronounce it. So that was one good thing. And the other I would just say is that I'm very proud of the way that the school has continued to progress. We've always, right from the start, pushed the envelope as far as what a Catholic school could bring, a small Catholic school like ourselves, and we always were paving the way. As I said, with the all-day kindergarten, we were the first to do that. Redoing our playground, we were one of the first ones to turn over the playground the way the public schools had done. Different course offerings that we've done. We've always pushed and noticed that a lot of other schools have followed our lead, our music program, things like that. And so I think that's what I take away from the last 15 years, is that we started as being the only Catholic school that had more than one owner. We had 5 owners with the 5 parishes, and that was a first. And we continue to develop firsts and to move forward. So I think that's the biggest thing that the 15 years has shown, and that's what the school needs to do in the future, is continue to push and to grow and to be first and to set new courses.
Thank you.
You're welcome.